Hey, what's up, friends? Welcome back to Growing with the Seqqoÿas.
This is episode 42. Are we having children? Are we pregnant?
What's a song you recommend? Let's see what Shuffle gives us. Oh, this one's good. To do this video because we didn't know where we were going to be at this point in our lives. I feel like it's important to talk about this now. What? Don't you hit your glass? I feel like it's important to talk about this now because it's in a way leading up to the next upcoming videos, the season finale. So let's just get right into it.
How do you feel about having kids?
I feel like when I was younger, you know, I feel like a lot of young girls do. They feel like they want to have that fairy tale sort of life of getting married in the white dress and having 2, maybe 3 kids and just being a mom. And then as I got older and started to find my more so like independence, I realized how much of that independence would be just different if I had kids. The older I've gotten, the less I really have the desire for kids, but at the same time, there definitely is that part of me that's like, yeah, kids would be awesome. Like, I feel that if we do have kids, I wouldn't want to have kids until we're like mid-30s, if we were going to plan on that. However,
lots of things to do in the meantime.
Yeah, I love kids, and I see myself working with kids and being involved with kids. I just don't really know what it would actually be like to have kids yet. Like, I have a niece.
You won't know till you know.
True, we won't know until a child is actually physically here. Because I have a little baby niece, and I've gotten to watch her grow up, and that experience has shown me how amazing it would be to have a child, but also how much work it is.
I feel like it's work that's worth it though, when we're ready for it.
So what do you feel about kids?
There's like a lot of aspects to it. So growing up for me, I never wanted to have kids. I was like, I'm not gonna have kids. Like,
really?
That's not for me. That's not the life that I want to live. Like, I want to have my life. Like, why would I want kids? But I've gotten older and I've had friends who have had kids, and meeting my friends' kids, and now our niece. Just seeing how amazing and how magical and how wise children are. Like, children are the ultimate teachers, I feel like. And so I think it would be amazing to have kids. But then there's also the aspect of like eco-friendly. Right now is not the best time to be like, oh, I want to have a bunch of kids just because of sustainability of the planet and all of that. But I think if one was to have children with sustainability in mind and to teach your children to be sustainable, then I think that would help more than hurt.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I've definitely been scared, feeling like, you know, I've seen all those apocalyptic, that's what it's called?
Apocalyptic. Yeah, you say that.
Yeah, all those apocalyptic. Apocalypses.
Apocalypse stuff.
Yeah. I've seen all those kind of movies where you see like what all of the crazy stuff that can happen in the world, and it looks so difficult doing that with a child.
When we're ready, when the time is right. Like, we have so much work to do without a child right now, so it's like let's just focus on that work, and then children will come when children come.
Mm-hmm.
Because I definitely want to have kids.
Our kids would be cute. I picture our kids with brown skin, blonde hair. Or I can also picture them like a girl coming out looking just like Ryan and a boy coming out looking just like me. So many possibilities.
Vice versa.
Yeah. We do have names for our kids, though. I will say that. We have an idea that we want all of our kids' middle names to be the same. Should we tell them?
We're gonna keep it a secret.
All of their middle names will be the same, but they'll be spelt different.
Maybe the same name but spelled different. You're like, what is the name? You'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for years to come. We'll be doing this forever.
Or months.
Are we pregnant right now?
I don't know, I haven't got my period yet.
I'd be excited either way.
I know, I would be excited too, but...
Like as much as I'm like, oh yeah, I want my independence, like there's so much things to be done, like if we had a kid, like whoa, that would be awesome. Just focus all on that.
Yeah, because I feel like we would be such cool parents. We'd be the best parents ever, but doesn't every parent say that?
Everybody says that probably.
But then somehow...
I don't think everybody probably says that.
I feel like everybody, for the most part, wants to be the best parent ever.
Yeah.
Just like how our parents, like, we can tell that they've tried.
They have done their best.
Yeah. But it is interesting, like, even though we're not actually parents yet, the only relationship to parents that we have right now is our own parents and being a child.
I think that's another thing that I'm really excited for about being a parent. And I feel like I said this earlier in the video already, like, children are the ultimate teachers.
Yeah.
And especially your own child, when you have a child of your own, it's literally a reflection of you. And like this is one of the things that we can't speak on really, like only from hearing what other people have said. And it's just that having that direct reflection of yourself that has come from you, and having that be a whole individual human on its own, it's not you.
Yeah.
It teaches you so much about yourself.
If we really think about it, like I see why you would say that, how kids are like the ultimate teachers, because they came from where?
Source.
You know? Children are so pure in their thoughts, and like where does that purity come from? Why do kids of all ethnicities play together, even of all ages? Like when I was at the park today, these little kids that were much older than Aaliyah were like, hey, like, come play with me.
Aww.
And like Aaliyah's like, yeah, you know, like children don't see limitations, especially when it comes to other people. All children know to do is to have fun and to be themselves. The only time that they stop doing that is when somebody else tells them that being themselves is wrong. I do think it comes around the time of learning language. Because when you teach a child words, you're also teaching them the meaning of such word. And so if you don't teach that meaning in a universal way, they're only going to think of that word.
Bias.
Yeah. Oh shoot, I forgot that I was still on Zoom. I do remember the first time that I stopped feeling like just a free spirit child and started feeling like a human was when I had to go to school. When that transition of like being able to do whatever I want, play all the time, and then the knowing is in the flowing.
Letting go.
Yeah, but
But yeah, that brings it around to like learning, like teaching a child. What do you think about this? Like, if we were to have kids, rather than try to teach them all these things and tell them the way it is, ask them, be like, what do you think it is? What do you think about this?
Yeah.
When a child asks me a question, like, what is this or why is this? Try to explain it in like the most unbiased way possible. Be like, this is why I think this. Like, I just think this. Like, I've been told this because of this. And like, really tell them like where these things come from, and if they start to question, because I know this is a thing like with kids, like I've heard this before with just passers-by of conversations where a child will ask their parent like, oh, what is this? And the parent will give them an answer, and they'll be like, but why? Like, but why? Like, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. It's like, just because it is, and then that like gets ingrained. Oh, because it is. Like, okay, so I'm not gonna question it.
That's totally triggering something for me. Yeah, I remember doing that. It's a trip, but I do feel like, yeah, I want to ask our kids that, and I don't want to give them any sort of answer until they've given us their thoughts on what they think things are.
For sure.
Because I don't want them to ever think things are true or like right just because we think they are.
Right, yeah, and I think in doing that and like in asking them, be like, well, what do you think? I think that's when we learn. Yeah. Because that's when we're like, oh, like I didn't even think about it like that.
Right.
You know, like, oh, like you gave me a new perspective.
Right.
Kid.
It was so sweet yesterday, Aaliyah. She's went into this new thing of like wanting to feed people. Like if you give her a chip, she'll be like, like I want a chip, like She can't talk or anything yet. And I'll give her a chip, and then instead of her putting it in her mouth, she'll put it in my mouth. And like maybe like every 3 chips, she'll put it in her mouth. And then I ran out of chips to give her, and then she literally put her in her mouth. Feed me. And you see such sweet things like that with children, and it's like, where does that come from? Like that's true, like such pure God love right there. Yeah. For children to not even be able to talk but communicate love is so beautiful. So beautiful, and
it shows the perfection.
It really does show the perfection, and it shows how perfect we can be when we just let go of everything that we've been constructed to be. Because I believe that we completely can get back to that space of how it was like when we were first born, of just seeing the world for love and seeing the world as perfect and living in that free, perfect reality. And I think it would be really good for us to have kids. That's why I'm like, yeah, let's have kids. Just like have all these kids, and they can just be all light bringers and change the world and love on everybody. It's gonna be great. Either way.
It's a matter of creating that foundation first, and being able to be in that place where like, okay, if we have kids, they're gonna be guaranteed success.
And I don't think we can ever say that.
You're right.
Because we can try to give our kids our idea of what success looks like to us, but that might not be their idea of success.
Well, I mean success in the form of like surviving, staying alive.
Yeah. We would definitely keep some children alive, babe.
I know, but I'm saying like it'd be helpful to have a foundation to do that.
Right, yeah,
As
we definitely should be
like,
prepared.
Where we're at right now, which is like we're like floating down the river. We don't have like a solid foundation to build on. We're just kind of floating.
Oh, we're like floating on like floaties, like vacation floaties, but you want to be like floating down like a cruise ship?
Like a ship.
Got it.
Built. That's such a great analogy, because any way that it goes will be perfect, and it's possible to do it. It's possible to like sustain on that floaty. It's just a lot more work. It's a lot more effort.
Yeah, that's true.
So like that's why I'm saying like I'd rather have like a foundation to make it easier, just make it more of what I love, which is easy peasy lemon squeezy. And I think that's a good thing.
This is beautiful. See?
Ah! 1 year today!
We met on this day.
1 year ago.
1 year ago. Here! Well, we didn't meet here.
This is where we had our first date.
Yeah. And he tried to kiss me. This is where he tried to kiss me at.